Now, those are the problems that our forced presence is causing over there. But what about here at home? I want to show you how Al-Qaeda uses these events in order to recruit homegrown terrorists to kill us. I want to show you what is probably Al-Qaeda's most important recruitment video to recruit homegrown terrorists. This was made by Adam Gadon. Adam Gadon is an American. He was born in Riverside, California. He's about 34 years old. His name is Adam. His father was Jewish. When the family was young, they converted to Christianity. When he was a teenager, he converted to Islam. And since 1998, he's been living with Osama, either in Afghanistan or now, we believe, in Western Pakistan. This was his coming out video. The first time his face was shown came out in 2006. I want you to listen to his pitch to recruit homegrown terrorists to kill us. And about 2/3 of the way through, I want you to remember the Fort Hood shooting spree.
It's crucial for Muslims to keep in mind that the Americans, the British, and the other members of the coalition of terror have intentionally targeted Muslim civilians and civilian targets, both before as well as after September 11th. In both the First and Second Iraq Wars, as well as in their forays into Somalia and the Sudan and Afghanistan, just to give you a few examples. And they've done this with the support and backing of their populations and electorates. I mean, even if there have been some feeble protests scattered here and there in the West, chiefly against the latest war in Iraq, all the same, the governments who started these wars have been re-elected by a majority of the popular vote. In their aggression against Afghanistan, which for Westerners and their mercenary sympathizers is the least controversial of Bush and Blair's terrorist wars, they have targeted civilians for assassination and kidnapping. They kidnapped any non-Afghans they found and shipped them off to Guantanamo or worse. Many were handed over to the American and British-backed despotic regimes of the Islamic world to be brutally interrogated. And with the blessing and support of that notorious Afghan killer, Hamid Karzai, they've murdered thousands of Afghan civilians as they slept in their beds, traveled on the roads, attended weddings, and prayed at the mosques. I know they've killed and maimed civilians in their strikes because I've seen it with my own eyes. My brothers have seen it. I've carried the victims in my arms. Women, children, toddlers, babies in their mother's wombs. You name it, they've probably bombed it. I could go on, and that's just Afghanistan. We haven't talked about American and British atrocities in the two Iraq wars. Let's take a look at the latest to be revealed. In Mahmoudiya, 5 American soldiers gang rape an Iraqi woman, and then to hide the evidence, murder her and 3 members of her family and burn her body. And then, when our mujahideen take revenge on the unit which committed this outrage and capture and execute 2 of its members, they're called terrorists, and Muslims are supposed to disown them or face the consequences. And I'm not saying that we should go and slaughter their women and children one by one like they did ours at Haditha and Ishaqi and Mahmoudiya and God knows where else, even if some of our legal experts have permitted that. And even if it's hard to imagine that any compassionate person could see pictures, just pictures of what the Crusaders did to those children and not want to go on a shooting spree at the Marines' housing facilities at Camp Pendleton. But what I am saying is that when we bomb their cities and civilians like they bomb ours, or destroy their infrastructure and means of transportation like they destroy ours, or kidnap their non-combatants like they kidnap ours, no sane Muslim should shed tears for them. And they should blame no one but themselves, because they're the ones who started this dirty war, and they're the ones who will end it, by ending their aggression against Islam and Muslims, by pulling out of our region, and by keeping their hands out of our affairs. And unless they do that, neither forced gate-style police raids, nor Belmarsh or Guantanamo prison cells, nor the mosques and imams advisory council will be able to prevent the Muslims from exacting revenge on behalf of their persecuted brothers and sisters.
So, no 72 virgins. Hardly any discussion of Islam as a religion. From beginning to end, this is an empathetic plea to respond to the plight of a kindred, yes, Muslim, a kindred population under a foreign occupation facing atrocities. This, ladies and gentlemen, is what we're up against. This is why the information war is going nowhere. We're not going to beat this by bringing on stage a Muslim cleric to say that terrorism is against the Quran. This is what we're up against. And notice how he's a great politician. He's sort of the Bill Clinton of the group. He's very good at charismatically spinning facts, bringing out emotion, but he spins the facts. He's not making them up out of whole cloth. If you were following, each and every one of the events he talked about actually happened. He's not giving us any credit for policing ourselves, which we did, but he is taking full advantage of actual events of a real occupation. That's not hollow rhetoric. That's rhetoric that is spun but backed up by a reality. And as long as that reality's there, we're not going to defeat that with a Madison Avenue style ad campaign.